What made you want to go into the brand route?
So I had a good span. Like last year, I had a 3 to 6 month span of selling vintage at a very, very high level. I want to say I definitely had a pulse on the market. I definitely knew it was hot. And I kind of wanted to shift that from, I remember asking my dad, I was like, how am I going to get to selling, like I was doing like 20K a month with vintage. I wanted to do 50 to 100. And he was just like, you're better off selling the clothes that you're finding and remaking the clothes. You're better off just making the clothes. He was like, we have sources in LA. You have the resources. You're friends with all these brand owners. You know, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Try it.
Go for it.
And you know, I found a very, I guess you could say, small niche in the market, and I like to problem solve. And I found a lot of, you know, gaps in the market of things that, you know, clothes with character on them that you know, are very hard to recreate. You know, you can't really recreate that stuff. You know, I guess you could say overseas. So, you know, what more of a better opportunity was to produce here in LA, where, you know, I'm very, very like detail oriented with it. So, you know, I'm able to learn A through Z what's going on. So that was like the shift from vintage to, you know, the brand.
Okay, so fast forward, the vintage is going well. You're making good money with that. You decide to go into the brand route, have ownership, recreate those pieces that you were selling for yourself. At what point for you, right then and there, was like, what were you stuck with? Like, what was the thing that was holding you back at the time? Because it wasn't like you just jumped from vintage to the brand, you got this, and you got the 7 figures. It was like those 2 months, especially where we were really talking every day. What was holding you back there? What was the issue?
I would want to say, I guess the feeling of judgment. You know, I wasn't really publicly doing this. I felt like online, like TikTok. You know, I hadn't really started TikTok from the brand or before. Like when I was doing vintage, I didn't really do TikTok. Wasn't a big, you know, not people person, but like social person. Like I wasn't the type to, you know, put my face out there and kind of be online. I was really doing this stuff in silence. And I honestly enjoyed it that way, but I think that was the biggest thing that really held me back was, you know, not publicizing this stuff enough, because the stuff that I was doing was honestly kind of unheard of in vintage. And really only like my homies know and my parents know like what I, you know, did with vintage. So I think, you know, shifting back into starting the brand, starting UNDS, I felt like that was the biggest thing was the publicity, publicizing everything that, you know, I was doing from start to finish with the clothing that we were trying to make. So that was the biggest mistake, was just kind of being afraid of being online.
Yeah.
The judgment of like peers, you could say. Like I remember, you know, when I first started doing TikTok, it kind of helped me out with the layout, the blueprint, you would say, of posting. And like I remember, like I was in class one day and one of my coworkers was like, "I see your TikToks," and I immediately was like, "Fuck, like, you seeing my TikToks? That's the wrong person that I want," you know. So that was just the biggest roadblock, was just coming out of that shell.
Yeah,
Was
definitely.
like publicizing everything.
100%. In the consulting program, I'm huge on the personal branding. I think in 2026 and going forward, we see a lot of brands are able to take off because the founder themselves are able to put themselves out there. It's not impossible, but it is a lot tougher when you're behind the scenes and nobody knows who you are. So you might as well take advantage of the opportunity that we all have, which is this phone. And it costs nothing to create content every day. So for you, like I'm huge, and like you already know, like we talked about all the time. It's in the program, personal brand and documenting. What exactly did you start doing? Like, was it the day in the life that took off? Was it the factory production runs? What really turned the dial for you? Because what I loved about your stuff from day one, bro, looking back, none of them really went like stupid viral. None of them went like influencer viral.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're able to build such a tight community and be able to sell out every drop, and it's like you were getting like 5 to 10K views, I think that's huge. Like, what was the one format or the documenting process like that really got your foot on the door on the content side?
So I remember literally it was like last year around this time where I think I called you one day and I was like, man, like I'm trying to do this layout of like 3 videos a day. You know, I used to do it a day in the life. I used to do a get ready with me, and I used to do like what I'm wearing. Like those 3 simple videos daily, you know, daily. I remember I was just like I was getting discouraged. I'm like, bro, this thing's it's not working. Like, and I remember you were just like, it's a volume game. That's the biggest thing. It's the volume game. It's the consistency aspect of it. The culmination of, sure, you know, to those people who were watching in the beginning of like start to finish, like, oh, my days in the life, you know, they got to see the progress of what I'm making, how the sample goes to production, all of that. And I think just people catching on really, really early and watching from afar. I think I say this a lot. There is a lot of silent supporters.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
that show up on drop day that I would never know. You know what I'm saying? That was the biggest thing, the consistent in the volume game.
Yeah.
On the algorithm, I think that was the most important thing for me with it. Because like you said, none of those videos went crazy. None of them did. I did these 3 TikToks for 180 days on one account. And not one did more than 10,000. I remember finally on that, like 100, it was like 180, 185. I posted a video about the stripe pants that I came out with. And I kid you not, that thing did all the views of all 180 videos in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it really changed everything. So the consistency part and showing up every day, that was like, that's the biggest thing. Like I could say that I really kind of shifted my momentum, the projection of the brand.
100%. And we talked about that all the time. It's also in the program. Content is like lottery tickets, bro. You don't know what's gonna hit. And hey, if somebody told you if you had to post 500 times and the 501st one is gonna blow up, like, would you do it? Most people, they say they would, they wouldn't. But like, he showed up every day, 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 3,000 views, and they would max out around like 5 to 10K. But it didn't matter because if you looked at the comments, the people were just so infatuated and involved in the brand and what he was doing, what he was making. And I think the biggest turning point, I mean, there's multiple. The Hickory pants, we'll get into that in a second. But what was it like for that first drop? I think it was the washed tees that you had like the first sellout.
Yeah.
And that was about 2 months after we started working together.
Yeah, it was 2 months.
What was that like, seeing everything come to fruition where it's like, hey, I've been posting, I know I'm making progress, but we're in a business game. If I'm not making money, I don't really know if I'm making progress or not. So what was it like seeing like, holy shit, like I sold out?
Yeah, I remember just doing the rollout of those t-shirts. It was when, I guess, you know, ERD came out with their, I mean, they've been doing their logo tees, but the silhouette I really liked of the thin, wider neck, collar and tee, like boxy crop t-shirt. I remember no one really had done that besides them. And I remember I post every day about it, like either I wore it in a fit vid, I wore it in a day in the life. It was some type of indirect marketing. I'd always get comments like, yo, this shirt's too wide, bro. Like,
the
neck's too wide.
Neck's too wide.
It's crazy. Like, what are you doing? You know, and I just remember the day before the drop, I was like, okay, like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And I took a big bet on myself in terms of units. I put everything I had in terms of like the following drops, like all the money that I had, I just put into the t-shirt drop and sold out. Ooh,
there we go.
Yeah, that keeps going. But yeah, I did like, it was like 50K in like 3-4 minutes.
Bro, you're 19 or you're 20 when you drop. What are the emotions that you have when you make $50,000
I remember
in a single, like a 10-minute span? Like,
yeah, I just remember it was just, it's honestly unexplainable, but it's crazy. I enjoyed it for literally maybe 5 minutes, and I was like, hey, cool. Like, how do I get 200K?
Come on, bro. It's the mindset. It's not even about the negative terms that people throw around with business people about being greedy or being whatever. It's just like, that's the mindset that gets you to the next level.
Yeah.
5 minutes, like everything changed. Like in a way, his whole life changed from that 5 minutes, and he immediately was like, what's next? Like we gotta double it. And that's the exact thing that we're trying to build here with brands. Bro, we're not doing drop shipping. Like we're not doing like one hit wonder, like meme coin stuff. You want to be around not just this year, but next year and like a decade from now.
Yeah.
Whether you want to sell it at the end of the day, whether you want to keep it and turn it into a family business, that's the goal, bro, longevity. So you did that, and then you were immediately like, what's next? You just hop right back into some production.
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
That's how you gotta do it, bro. You gotta be
all that
dog
money
about it.
I was so
You have a
like
moment right
happy.
now.
I had a reaction video of it because I was just like blown
I remember
away.
that shit, bro.
Yeah, I was just blown away. I had a reaction video of that, and it's just like, God, this is crazy. I was like, oh my God, like, okay, this is great. How do I get to 100? And then I remember all my friends around me was like, you just made $50,000. You just made what your professor probably makes per whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you're good. You're fine. You don't need your baby steps.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on the phone with my dad, and he was just like, yeah, that's just wild. He was, he was just like, so what's next? What's next for you? And yeah, that was all that really came to mind. Really, just what's next?
Definitely. So that was where stuff really changed, like initially.
Yeah.
Then fast forward, what, like another month or two,
Yeah.
you got your biggest creation in the works.
Yeah.
You got your most controversial piece. You got, these are too expensive. Why are they whatever? And it's the Hickory stripe pants. We'll throw a picture of them on the video, and bro, I remember some of my homies like, oh bro, you know that guy Aston, like you know the stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's my guy, that's my dog. Bro, pants like $400, like what the fuck, like he's tripping. I'm like, well, I mean, y'all buying ERD, y'all buying Pally, like y'all buying all these other brands, like what's the difference? Oh, I don't really know. So it was very like, even just for me, like not even obviously having any equity in your brand, but like people are coming to me like, bro, the pants. Like some people love them, some people are like, oh, bro, it's too
400. Hey,
expensive.
look,
For
bro,
you, what was
you
your
gotta.
mindset on the pricing? And then
I feel like you gotta understand that, like, you. Whoa, whoa, what the, bro? You gotta understand that, like, when you paying for these expensive brands, like, a lot of them are really you're paying for their story, bro. Like, some people may think it's just pieces, but these are stories behind some of these pieces, bro.
and also too, that was the one that really blew everything open. So what was that like?
Well, I think the buildup was honestly crazy. I remember I think I advertised them for like what 3 weeks. Yeah, it was 3 weeks. I remember I first put them out. Well, I guess I could say a little bit of the story. So how we found the material for the pants. Basically, met this guy at Rose Bowl. He said he had like old fabric in a vault in LA, and literally, I kid you not, called them the next day. It was Sunday because Rose Bowl was Sunday. Monday, showed up like 9 a.m. Went into his vault, got this material, tried it, took it to the wash house, tested it. Boom, perfect. Pant looked crazy, and I was just like, man, these are gonna be the ones for sure. Like this is something that we have. Like this is gold because the material, the history on the material. So that's a little
So I'm
backstory.
saying you paying for a story,
That
bro.
3 week rollout, what it looked like. I mean, it was just the same thing, same blueprint. Get ready with me, what I'm wearing, and it was just so. I remember I was like driving from LA to OC to go to my class. I was wearing them, and I was like, what is really gonna move the needle of this price?
Yeah.
Because this price is even I thought was steep. Like it was steep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? $400 pants. I think it was my fourth or fifth drop.
Yeah,
Like the price went up, like doubled. You know what I'm saying? Price doubled on the item or whatever. So it's scary for me, but I just had that. I had a good feeling of it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
And I remember like I said, I was driving, and I was like, wait, I should just talk about the material, because that right
That's
there
the
alone.
story. That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
know what that. I don't really know what
You
that's
gotta
gonna
sell
do,
a story.
but that could justify it for some people.
Yeah.
And I remember I had made the video the next day with all the rolls or whatever, and I didn't post it. I didn't post it for 2 weeks.
You sat on the
I
video?
sat on the video for 2 weeks.
Why?
I just didn't think it was ready. I didn't think it was ready. I didn't think I was like, I don't know. This might come off really like too like almost like okay, bro, like we get it.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was.
Wait, this was Friday. We dropped on. No, sorry.
This was Wednesday. We dropped on Saturday. I dropped that video like 3 days before the item dropped. I was on my way to the photo shoot for the drop. And I posted it. I remember I was stuck in traffic. I was late to my own shoot, and I checked my phone after the shoot. Shit had like 50K views. I mean, a lot of comments. It was controversial, Some people
Which
were
is what
like,
drives the views
yes,
for sure.
yes.
Yeah.
So I did get a lot of like flack for it, but I also got to like, don't worry, bro. We're paying for it anyways. And just right then and there, I was confident. I'm like, that's cool. We'll be fine. I'll be fine.
So drop day comes around, and what happens?
So I remember I was at my boys Vance and Vinny's house. I got the matcha. I was like, all right, this is good luck charm right here. I got the matcha.
Yeah.
Woke up early, got to their house, set up the Shopify on the screen and everything, and I was like, all right. I got like, it was like 5 minutes till it, and I remember I saw the visitors just jump. There were like a couple hundred, and that had never really happened. Maybe you get like 20 before the drop.
Yeah.
50 maybe max.
Yeah.
There were a couple hundred just sitting on the drop because I had advertised it as if there was only like 100 pairs.
Limited stock.
Yeah, limited
vintage
stock.
fabric.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
All those words, all those buzzwords. And yeah, this shit just flew. Unlocked the site, it flew immediately. Like all of it gone.
What'd you do, numbers wise?
Say 6 figures.
And how long? 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
No, it was like 3.
Like instant.
Yeah.
Damn.
6 figures in 3 minutes.
Tell me the story, bro.
Come on, bro.
So yeah, to those people that bought that first drop, that was the craziest 3 minutes ever for there were so many emotions.
You had
I
to
didn't know
sit
what
back
think.
and like really just try to process
Yeah.
what just happened though.
It's all on video. I have this shit recorded.
Yeah, I remember seeing the video, bro. I
Yeah.
remember seeing that shit. I'm like, he did it again.
Yeah. I was running around their house. I was like, yo, bro, I just did what everyone said that I couldn't do. There was so many people that were like, yo.
People were trashing
tripping.
the price,
Yes,
bro. They were
100%.
trashing the price.
Someone came up to me at the gym the same week was like, yo, I want to buy your pants. I know you from TikTok. And I'm like, that's cool. And he was like, but they're so expensive. I'm like, damn, okay. Like, you're at Equinox and you're saying they're expensive. Like, fuck, maybe they are expensive.
Yeah.
But
we gotta talk about who that is, honestly. Off the camera, I might know who. To be honest, but either way.
But yeah, that feeling it was just surreal, and it was just cool. Like from that point on, I knew I was like, I can sell literally anything for any price.
You knew
It's
you were
just-
that guy.
it's-
That
it's
was
just-
like the turning
It's
point.
just it was just the confidence that
Yeah.
really got me into the okay, cool. Like I have my kind of like I don't know. I had that influence. I had that leash.
Yeah.
I think we kind of talked about that earlier, about having the influence, and I realized I'm like, okay, cool. I really do have that type
Yeah.
of influence on people. You know,
Yeah.
for a drop to sell in 3 minutes at the average cost of $400 of
Yeah.
the item.
That's
Like,
crazy.
no one's doing it in this economy currently.
Yeah. But do you see where this goes? We talked originally when I first met him. What did I say? There's that confidence, there's that swagger. And I'm like, this dude didn't even have a brand yet, didn't even have anything. Like, you were coming to me for help, and he still had the swagger. I could just tell like in his walk and just like how hungry he was to like find information, calling me at midnight and shit, like for a month straight. And that just told me right there, like, hey, he's destined for it. 6 months later, 6 figures in 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the identity part is so important. And piggybacking off the identity and confidence, what is your opinion on like pricing in general? Because, you know, we talked about it before, and I said, hey, I don't think dropping the price is like the best thing. Because we
Yeah,
talked about it when
yeah.
the hoodies wouldn't sell originally.
Yes.
And I was like, yo, do you want to drop
Yes.
the price? And you're like, no. You're like, I'm going to Erewhon every day. I want to pay for my smoothie. I want to have money to pay for it. Like, yo, like, the shit was dead ass funny as fuck. Like, I'm talking to this dude, like, do you want to lower the price? Like, see if that changes anything?
This was a real combo.
And he's like, no. He's like, no, bro. I go to Erewhon like every day. Like, I want to be able to pay for my smoothie. I want to be able to pay for my. I'm like, shit, my bad. Like, like, shit, do your thing, bro. Like, so either way, he
Real
told me
shit.
that.
You
I'm
got
like,
a
cool.
lifestyle
Well, then
you
I'm
wanna
not
go
gonna spend
to.
time telling him to drop his price then, because you can sell at any price point, and we see with these luxury brands or whatever. So, what was the biggest thing for you, price wise, just from this whole thing? Because you never started out with low prices. So, was it a confidence thing? Was it just like, hey, I'm producing in LA, so this warrants a higher price tag?
Yeah.
Like, what was it for you?
It was a multitude of things. It was a multitude of all the things that you just mentioned. Actually, it was when the cost of LA manufacturing. A lot of people don't understand. This shit's expensive.
That shit costs.
It costs.
That tax.
It costs. I mean, even the $400 pants cost them over $100 to make. You know, and that alone is very expensive. Because I had dealt with overseas manufacturing in the beginning sampling stages of the brand.
Yeah.
Like I had dealt with it, but just was not what I wanted. So that was definitely a factor. 2, confidence. I mean, after, like I said, the Hickory stripe drop, it changed everything for me in the sense of how I looked at, you know, my influence on people, you know, what I really, really liked. So that's another thing. But then also the third factor of that, to answer that question, was just like I really try to put myself in the consumer's shoes. I was like, okay, how much am I really willing to pay for this item? Like how much, like if I saw it at the web store, you know what I'm saying? Or I saw it online, or I saw it on, even on like an Instagram ad.
Yeah.
How much am I willing to pay for the item?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of how I developed that price confidence.
Yeah.
Was it those 3 things?
100%. Wrapping it up, Vance and Vinny was there.
Yeah.
They ended up launching their brand shortly after.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have launched their brands because they saw what you've done.
Yeah.
They saw the influence. What do you have to say to the people, especially the young ones, sitting on the fence right now, debating if like they should go for it? Because we've all heard it. Brands are oversaturated. Like everybody has one. I mean, some of that like is true.
Yes.
So it's like, what do you have to say to the young kid or that younger version of yourself, where it's like, hey, should he go for it? Should he not? What do you
Well,
think?
I mean, yeah, I would say definitely go for it. I think the tools just off of just being very general. I guess the consistency aspect. Well, one, you got to find a market that there's gaps in, and the niche that I was in the sense was like a lot of character on the clothing, a lot
Yep.
of fades, a lot of distressing, a lot of that stuff.
But it was all authentic to you,
Yes,
though, which I think
very-
is what helped you
yes.
separate yourself.
Yes, and that, it just went perfect with what I had already going on with the vintage,
Yep.
because that's what I like to curate. And I curated, and then I ended up mass producing the curation. So I think trying to find, you know, an angle or two, sticking with it, and being consistent with it, I think